Hey, this is Shaun with the Atlanta Tennis Podcast, powered by Go Tennis. Check out our calendar of Metro Atlanta tennis events at letsgotennis.com. And if you're a fan of Bull Shark Sports, go to shop.letsgotennis.com. Get yourself a hoodie or a hat. Also, we want to hear from you. We want to hear your story on the podcast. So if you have a story to share, something fun, something exciting, something just regular, hey, I won a tennis match. We want to hear a story. Tell us a story on the Atlanta Tennis Podcast. We might actually share it with everybody. Today, this is Youth Sports Talk with Coach Ben Hesley. Today's talk attempts to answer the question, what if junior tennis looked like other sports? Ben, you ready to talk youth sports?
Let's dive in.
All right, today's conversation focuses on a what if, which is what if junior tennis looked like other sports? We hope to come up with some ideas to help encourage the younger version of this sport. So, Ben, where do you want to start? T-ball, softball, 6 and under soccer? Is there baby basketball? Where are we going to start?
There probably is basketball, my vision long ago was to have kids playing tennis with balloons, right? So you could have 3-year-olds out there playing matches with balloons. That's probably a little extreme for competition, but I think we just start today just kind of assuming the audience may not know about junior team tennis. Maybe you do play softball, baseball, or soccer, and you kind of know what those team sports environments. And we're talking about the rec levels. We can have a different conversation about travel ball and all the in kind of more, shall we say, intense competitions. But this is like a rec. We're talking recreational youth sports, right? And so for tennis, often like junior team tennis, and we're not going to talk about tournaments. Let's focus on junior team tennis. In junior team tennis, you typically, whether it's USTA, whether it's Alta, you typically play out of your club or your neighborhood or maybe a public facility, but you sort of have to be a part of something first, and then maybe a parent, or maybe if you have a really enthusiastic and engaged coach, tennis pro that wants to put a team together, he or she puts the team together. And so it's kind of more organized by the adult in the sense that it's you belong to a club, right? Like when I was at Druid Hills, we had a junior program director on staff, and his or her job was to organize the junior team tennis. We had a lot of parent help, in terms of captaining and stuff like that. But really, if you weren't a part, a lot of times I see if you're not a part of a club or a neighborhood or attached to a facility, like it's really hard to kind of get into junior team tennis. And the whole nature of junior team tennis basically takes the adult version, which we all know, right? So your neighborhood has a team. It's all people out of your neighborhood. My neighborhood has a team. It's all people out of our neighborhood. Druid Hills Golf Club has teams. It's all members of that club. So,
and we clash on the Saturdays.
Right. So we take the same approach to juniors, right? And there's some facts that we can discuss of why that may not be the best idea to just basically let's just take the adult version of tennis and just carbon copy it to kids, and why that might not be appropriate to what the kids actually need and what can help us grow the sport.
So, and this is a problem maybe because there is not much adult soccer leagues. It isn't the same thing. Like tennis is a thing that parents and kids play. Typically when I send my kid out to his 12 and under basketball team, I'm not also on a basketball team somewhere. So it's less like the adult league that gets carbon copied down. Is that maybe one of the starting differences? Is we just don't have the same example? Or is that a good thing that tennis can just say, hey, the adults do it this way? Let's at least start there and then adjust if we have to?
Yeah, I mean, there are soccer leagues for adults. There's baseball leagues and softball leagues for adults. How those leagues run, I'm not really sure, to be honest with you.
I think that's my point. Like, it isn't that popular to where.
Okay. Yeah, it's not so popular where, I mean, we're usually talking like, okay, I play on an Alpha team. I want my kid to play on an Alpha team. So let's formulate an Alpha team, right? Now, first of all, because I get this question like all the time, Ben, how can we have, 6 Alpha teams, right? We have 6 women's Sunday Alpha teams. How come we don't have more junior teams, or whatever, right? And so my answer to them is always, and it's always, and I sat on the Alta board for 5 years. I was the pro liaison. it was always a question like, why don't we have more junior players playing team tennis than we do adult players? Well, there's some fundamental reasons why. Number one, imagine if, and now USTA does have an 18 and over and 40 and over league, but imagine if to play, let's just say A1 Alta, Shaun, we're going to have the 30-year-old division of A1 Alta. We've got the 35-year-old division of A1 Alta. We've got the 40-year-old division of A1 Alta. We got the 45 division. Like, how many teams you think you could create?
Zero.
Zero. I mean, my Alta team is anywhere from like the youngest guys like late 30, 40, and the oldest guy's 65, right? So I mean, we got easily 25 years, if not more, of time span there. With juniors, it's all age based and it's by 2 years, right? So 8 and under is essentially 7 and 8s, 10 and under is essentially 9 and 10s, 11, 12, 13 and 14, and so on. So you're trying to get a tight age window and a level right. It's going to be virtually impossible to formulate a lot of teams. And so that's the jumping off point. Is this like, and I'm not saying we have 8-year-olds play with 14-year-olds. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it might have to be a different look, and it might have to be similar to baseball or softball or rec soccer, as opposed to like, okay, I'm going to try to at my club of 600 people, 600 families, to which there's only 100 kids that are of ages 10 and under, to which there's only 45 kids of ages 7 and 8, to which only 15 of them can actually rally and play tennis, to which of those 15 are going to see how I'm starting to like just narrow down, and it becomes really difficult to create teams that are number one the same age, and number two a similar level.
So thought pops into my head. Okay, Shaun's neighborhood plays against Ben's neighborhood. And what if we had a team where line one was 18 and under, line two was 16 and under, line three was 14 and under, line four is 12 and under. And we can actually say, you know what, there's a good chance we're not going to have an 8 and under team or just one 16 and under team. So can we spread it out and do it that way? I've never heard of anything like that being suggested. Maybe it has. But otherwise, doing it like soccer wouldn't necessarily work because the team sport system just is that different, right? Or do you have some ideas as to how the idea of young soccer or young softball can translate into tennis?
Yeah, so I think that's asking the right question. So you kind of went the direction of, all right, I have a difficulty creating this team, so let's make it a team but with more with broader ages, right? So I've got an 18 and under line, I've got a 16 and under line, 14 and under line, and maybe you could play up if you want to, but you can't play down or whatever. That might even be difficult because how many 18-year-olds want to be on the same team as an 8-year-old, even if they're not playing together,
Mhm.
right? We had some challenges with this. I ran in-house leagues for years and junior leagues. Started at Dunwoody Country Club, took that concept to Druid Hills, and that was sometimes they'd be into it, sometimes they weren't. It just depended on the temperament of that particular sort of peer group of kids. But sometimes the 14-year-olds would be great. Sometimes the 14-year-olds would go on and they would help us coach and manage the 8-year-old red ball kids, right? And they were really, really good. But that takes a special type of kid. And then sometimes the 14-year-olds wanted nothing to do with the 8-year-olds and wanted to like quote do their own thing. And so
That could be a
that
coach
creates
as well, right? So as a coach trainer yourself, you
yeah.
tell me, you know what? You need to get that 14-year-old to be able to work with the 8-year-old and say, this is a team, this is our village, and we need to be able to do this. Now I'm getting into the weeds of
Yeah, and we can yeah, sure. What we should be doing or could be doing or whatever, and teaching those life skills and social skills to the older kids and to be there to support the younger kids and all that kind of stuff. But that's a different conversation. It just could create some fundamental issues in that scenario. So my thoughts were I'm going more like, what if junior team tennis as we know it, right? It's your club versus my club, right? The kids at my club, we create a team. The kids at your club or your neighborhood facility, you create a team. We go to your site, right? So you have to provide a couple courts or whatever to have a match. What if it was like youth baseball and youth softball? What if and how that works is this. all the kids in your community sign up in one platform. They all sign up as individuals. Okay. You have parents, um, volunteers to be captains. So I'm going to captain this team. I'm going to captain. And this is how exactly how baseball and softball recreational leagues work. Everybody signs up. 200 kids sign up for this league at the 8 and under division. Okay. Then we pick a day. We have evaluations. All the kids come out. We've got the courts. All right. We do evals. All the coaches volunteer to do evaluations, to rate the kids. Right. And so we sort of have it paired up by rating or ranking the order of the kids. And then we can decide levels from there. If you've got 200 kids, maybe we put them on teams of 6 and we can have 3 different levels, whatever the case may be. Right. But you play under at one facility. All right. So, okay, at this big, and you would need a big tennis. And I brought this idea to Bill Dopp years ago when he's in charge, Bill's in charge of the tennis service reps for the Southern Division of USTA. And talking about how we could increase participation in junior team tennis. And this very subject came up. And I said to him exactly what I'm saying now is, what if you had this in your community? You had one, probably a public facility, probably have to be a public facility, big public facility, multiple courts. And that's where you play. This is what junior team tennis was played out of. And all the kids in the community, it doesn't matter if you're a Druid Hills member or Beach Club or Dunwoody, or it doesn't matter what club you belong to or your parents belong to. You just sign up for the youth tennis league and we draft you on teams. And of course, you can pick to, a lot of these places will allow you to do a buddy thing. You can put down one friend that you would like at registration. You can list one friend that you would like to be on the same team with. Not always guaranteed, but you can do that. And you would work, the coaches would work its best to make sure friends were on the same team or whatever. But that's what it would look like, right? It would look just like youth baseball, youth softball, youth soccer, where you sign up for a team. There's a draft by the, some don't like the term draft, but that's what it is. It's just a draft, and in the draft, the intent behind it is to have equal level of teams, or
And not
sorry, equal ability of those teams.
right. And not to get too much in the weeds again, but skipping to the end to say, okay, but those baseball fields, when you have everybody in the community coming to that one place, those baseball fields don't have men's out to baseball happening in the morning and then ladies mixed USTA happening in the afternoon. You'd have to take over that facility with junior programming. So I think there'd probably be a court availability. What if we did, just crazy idea, what if we did the giant pool of kids and then based on who wanted to host a team, you got assigned to a neighborhood or you got assigned to a facility within range. And then we spread everybody out and that was the team you were on. That could possibly work too, where we'd have less of an issue trying to get everybody into one facility because you're just going to have a court availability problem with 200 kids on a Saturday.
Right. No doubt. And which brings up another thing that youth soccer, baseball, and softball do is they have multiple sites. So I wouldn't say like, okay, I would kind of have clubs and facilities raise their hand. How many courts can you give us on a, junior Alta and junior USA are always Saturday afternoons? How many courts can you dedicate to us for our league on Saturday afternoon? It may not be your members, may not be your kids. Like you said,
right.
We might have, this week we've got the Blue Jays and the Orioles, whatever your team name is. They're going to play at Druid Hills, right? And the Green Monsters and the Purple Predators are playing each other over at DeKalb Tennis Center. And it does so. What you have as a league administrator is you don't have clubs or facilities, but you have courts. Like here's the courts I have at my disposal. We might have 4 at Druid Hills. We might have 6 at DeKalb. We might have 4 at Agnes Scott College. Whatever facilities we can get. And then we, like you said, we disperse those kids out. So you're right. So you don't have to have everybody playing at this one big tennis center on a Saturday.
But honestly, I think you just nailed the problem with junior team tennis. We're not called the Bolts or the Thunder. But we need to name the teams. And if they had team names like the professional tennis teams, I think that fixes everything.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know from my experience. I mean, we got jerseys. There were years at Druid Hills where I had, and I may still have it, like not jerseys like real, but like T-shirts.
Yeah.
And
Like
I
a
had
team
Druid
T-shirt.
Hills. And, it's funny, I never forget. And when the kids had numbers and they could put their nickname on the back, they loved it.
Awesome. Yeah, that's
And we
something.
went to the state tournament and had that, and the kids loved it. And I remember it was in cursive, so it was like that classic baseball look,
Mm,
but the H kind of looked like a K the way the cursive came out. So people thought our shirt said Druid Kills
Druid
instead of
kill.
Druid Hills.
See, that's a good
But
team.
yeah, but you're right. Have team names. I have team names. Have I almost said uniform. Have a team shirt, which some teams actually do. I've seen some junior teams show up and they're all the kids are wearing the same shirt, which is cool, which is what you want. But make it more like and to that kid, the last point I'll make to that kid that is trying to get into tennis. Maybe he or she's taken some tennis lessons. We talk about this before in our shows about how to get into competition. Well, team tennis is kind of one of those first steps, right? And so if I'm just a kid in a neighborhood, I've taken a few private lessons from a coach, or maybe I'm in like a little junior program, but there's not that many kids, but I'm pretty decent and I want to move on. How do I get onto a team? Like it's almost like in tennis sometimes if you're in the know, you're in the know. But getting in the know is super hard, right? Like getting started is versus, hey, Johnny wants to play baseball. Perfect. I go to the website, www.youthbaseballinmyarea.com or whatever your website is. Oh, registration starts August 1st. Okay, boom, perfect. He's on a team. He's guaranteed on a team.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go to evals in 2 weeks. All right. And he's going to be drafted on a team. We're going to have a season. Like it's all done for you. And if junior team tennis was more like that, maybe we have more kids participating in it.
In that case, I don't have to ask the question, did we answer the question? Because I think we did. You've got great ideas. I think team shirts, I think that's the way to go, but we'll figure that one out. Youth Sports Talk with Coach Ben Hesley. Thank you, sir. Great job today. We'll talk again next week.
All right. Have a good day, everybody.